What's up, I'm Channel Pup Fanboy Supervillain, and nearly 10 years after the last one, we've got a brand new Captain America movie with a brand new Captain America. So that's surely gonna give us a lot to talk about, right? Right? If you like Marvel, you're in the right place. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want to support me further, the link to the Patreon page is in the description below. All support is hugely appreciated. Thank you very much. While I don't think it's true of every Marvel project, Marvel Studios do have a reputation for being kind of the fast food of cinema. This latest Captain America movie, Brave New World, looked to be a little more complex on the surface. A new Captain America operating under a new regime, answering to a president that he doesn't approve of. This wasn't going to be cinematic McDonald's, and that's absolutely true of the final product, as I wouldn't say Captain America Brave New World is comparable to McDonald's at all. It's actually far more comparable to a microwave-ready Rustler's burger. It's a shame too, because I thought we were entering kinda a new golden age for Marvel. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, Daredevil... Wait. Oh, right, yeah. Daredevil released 10 years ago, and I'm just now watching it, and that brought me back to the sobering reality of what Disney Marvel is now. Now, I'm not saying this movie sucks. A Rustler's burger doesn't taste bad. It's not unpleasant, it tastes enough like an approximation of a fresh burger to give off the overall same effect, but there's no value to it. It doesn't leave you satisfied, and you're usually still hungry after. And if someone served this to you at a barbecue, you could absolutely tell you'd been given a microwave burger and would cease to be friends with the person that invited you to that barbecue. Captain America Brave New World isn't obnoxious and tasteless like, say, Thor Love and Thunder, but it's just as vapid as Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, except here, there's a lot less moving parts and it feels like there's a little less narratively riding on this one, so it's less overall egregious. I don't know what the original message of Captain America Brave New World was ever meant to be, but this is a movie that has been absolutely lobotomized in post-production. Brave, this movie is not. Any further exploration of our new Captain America Sam Wilson is constrained purely to, he didn't take the serum, he doesn't have powers. Outside of that, Sam Wilson is probably one of the most passive lead characters the MCU has had. There's so little here for Anthony Mackie to actually chew on. Oh, he doesn't trust the president, but he's got to stand by him. What kind of tensions could come from that? Well, apparently nothing, as Thunderbolt Ross is also a super passive character. He's swept up in treaty negotiations as a new metal, adamantium, has been discovered on the Celestial Island, and it's going to change everything. But someone's pulling the strings behind the scenes to ensure that President Ross fails, to ensure that his term is a total disaster. And that's the incredible thing. Every time any character does something even slightly morally challenging, it can all be traced back to this villain pulling the strings behind the scenes, gutting these moments of any kind of actual weight or consequence. Like, just imagine this for a second, guys. Imagine a Captain America movie where Cap is forced into an uneasy alliance with a president he doesn't approve of, only for it to boil down to an evil supervillain is doing everything he can to make the president the bad guy. Imagine going down that route in this climate where people act like politicians are superheroes. It's not like there's a gold mine of potential subtext and themes right there. And okay, so the president is a main character in this movie, in this political thriller, but we don't know what his political alignment is. We don't know what party he's with, we don't know how he got elected or anything about his campaign. The movie just starts, and he's the president. And evil, scary music plays. How very nuanced. But then it turns out that some glop shito has it out for Mr. President, so every bad thing the supervillain president does in this movie is actually down to the real twist villain. Some guy you're expected to remember from a movie that released almost 20 years ago. The extent of the commentary that this film makes is, your supervillain president has feelings too. Whew. Again, there is so much to pull from in today's political climate. The dehumanization of political ideologies from either wing, how sensationalism and entertainment has taken over politics, how people view politicians like they're superheroes, the uneasy ripple effects, and we see none of that in this movie. We don't see how Ross got elected, or what the country thinks, or the fallout. We just know he's got a treaty that has to work. And get ready to hear that a lot in this movie, because that's how it reminds you that politics is happening. And there's no lasting impact for anything that happens in this movie, so not only is it not explored in the slightest here, it never will be. meaning that your daring political thriller Marvel movie amounted to your studio exec getting a Red Hulk and Captain America action figure out of the box and clinking them together before putting all the toys back in the box and calling it a day. There's your new Captain America movie. The fights were cool, I'll say that much. Sam Wilson having no powers put his mortality at the forefront. This is a more physically vulnerable Captain America than before, but he makes up for it with his flight tech, which is great because we generally get more aerial fights than we did previously. The action sequences in this film aren't like they are in any other Captain America movie. But if you wanted to just lock in for raw fights, then just make this an all-out action blockbuster. You don't have to lie and make it a political thriller when it really isn't. Like, people will come out for raw fights, epic action sequences. But this film operates under that pretense that it is a political thriller when it is one of Marvel's most vapid, brain-dead movies. Oh god, there's the supporting cast as well. So there's the new Falcon, whose name I've already forgotten. You don't explore his character other than the fact that he's young and Isaiah Bradley isn't. But do we really know anything about his relationships with Sam and Isaiah? No. They seem to get along on a surface level, but I can't tell you anything else. It's the usual arc, you're not the Falcon, 5 minutes in, and you're the Falcon, 5 minutes towards the end. It is super predictable. Isaiah Bradley just ends up being a plot device. I should also mention that this movie has a major insincerity problem. Anytime it gets even slightly heartfelt, it's immediately bulldozed by a bad joke. Let's see, who else? We got Giancarlo Esposito in there. He shoots a gun. He was kind of cool for a bit. Then there's the big controversial character, Ruth, aka Sabra. Now, people were ready to boycott this film over this character because she's basically Israel Captain America, meaning that this would be Israel propaganda during a time when the Israeli government are enacting a genocide against the Palestinians and the general public while using Hamas as an scapegoat. Just gonna go ahead and shoot the elephant in the room there, that's what it is. Except from what I've read of any comics that feature Sabra, it was a critique on the dehumanization of Palestinians from an Israeli perspective, as she views them as monsters and kills a child in front of the Hulk, who calls her a monster. The Hulk was calling Captain Israel a monster, and the Hulk was portrayed as being in the right. A lot of the people boycotting based on just this character being in the movie probably didn't read any of this. We could see some really daring critique on Israel, except you know 100% that the mouse isn't going to do that. So here we are with Ruth, President Ross's secretary, and nothing more. She has a super suit that she wears during a scene for absolutely no reason, and that's it. They mention fleetingly that she's from Israel and trained in the Red Room, effectively matching Black Widow in ability, but it all amounts to nothing. Now here's the thing, I can appreciate that no matter what stance it takes, people might just not want to see Sabra's story told right now. Sabra is not the character the world really needs right now, sure. So why is she in the fucking movie in the first place? What are we left with? Hello, Marvel, what are we left with? We barely explored any of the characters. The film isn't really about Sam Wilson, so what is it about? What's the theme? What's the message? What are we trying to say? I don't hold this against director Julius Onah. It's no secret that this film underwent extensive reshoots, and you can tell. Is it a rule in Hollywood that reshoots are obligated to be mid-shots, by the way? That's something I'm really curious about, especially after this movie. What started off as a project penned by Malcolm Spellman ballooned into a project by 5 writers, and there's a character in this movie whose design does not match any of the merchandise. What we have here has been reshot and retooled to oblivion, and what we're left with is the most microwavable Captain America movie imaginable. But it's got some action, it's got some jokes, and there's some stakes to it. It's a fine approximation of a Captain America movie. It is no secret that test screenings for this one weren't amazing, but are you making a political thriller or not? Anything political is not going to be a crowd pleaser, and Marvel decided, rather than challenge the audience, let's just go for the bag. The lesson learned? Never trust the mouse to make a brave new anything. It's a real shame, because when people talk about the best superhero film trilogies of all time, the Captain America movies are always a part of the conversation. Captain America: The Winter Soldier actually did have some political commentary. It did live up to its namesake as a political thriller, proving that, yeah, Marvel can actually do this. But that was over 10 years ago. Disney's little facade of giving a fuck about anything that happens in the real world has long since slipped. They really had a lot to prove with this brand new Captain America, and they completely blew it. But hey, at least my microwave-ready burger doesn't taste unpleasant. God bless America. Have you seen Captain America Brave New World? What do you think of the movie? What do you think of my review? Comment below, discuss. And as always, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to support more like it, be sure to hit subscribe, hit the like button, and in the description below is the link to my Patreon page, where for as little as $1 a month, you can get ad-free downloadable videos, exclusive content, occasional early access, and your name in the credits. A special shout out goes to the patrons in the $5 and above tier. We've got Seppo the Smith, Silver, Josh Strider, Grant Allen, Twilord, Coco210, Hey It's Classy, Ian, Cho Henshin, KB, RT0, Carlex, Hypes, Sad Goku, Dare Denny, SSS06, KO Bennett, Wouldn't You Like to Know Pup, ooh, mysterious, Ken K, Mr. SP, Cyrus the Skeptic, Biotin, and Vera Wild. Thank you folks so much for your generosity, and to all of you at home, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Now get out of here.